Magandang gabi sa inyong lahat, and we're happy to see you again. Today is March 20, 2025.
Maraming salamat sa mga patuloy nating, taga-subaybay at, tagapanood. So, tulungan niyo kami na i-share din sa marami 'no, sa mga kakilala ninyo kahit, wala sa mga eskuwelahan or sa education, eh. Sana, tangkilikin ninyo itong aming programa.
So last Monday, kasama natin dito si Christian Esguerra. So we were very happy with that episode. At syempre, kasama natin dito si Attorney E.
At siyempre kasama natin si Doc D dito sa Usapang
Usapang Ed.
Ed. Oh, anong pag-uusapan natin ngayon?
So ngayong gabi, may guest na naman tayo. Okay? So last Monday, we had Christian Esguerra with us. And tonight, we have with us none other than the President of the Catholic Educational Association of the Philippines, the current Chair of the Coordinating Council of Private Educational Association, and of course, President of Ateneo de Davao University.
Sino ba 'to? Pero before natin tawagin ang ating, guest, ano pa pag-uusapan natin, ngayon, Doc D? Our topic, tonight is the state of private education in the Philippines. Ano bang estado ngayon? Ano bang mga, important data na dapat malaman ng ating mga taga-subaybay, Doc Doris?
So dito sa Usapang Ed, ngayong gabi, ito ay magiging usapang private ed. Kaya isama na natin no ang ating guest.
Tawagin na muna
Yes,
natin siya.
tawagin na natin siya bago tayo maglabas ng ating mga
Okay.
figures.
Sige. Tawagin na natin si Father Karel San Juan. Welcome, Father. Magandang gabi
Ay,
sa'yo.
magandang araw, magandang umaga, magandang gabi sa inyong lahat. Hello to Doc Doris and Attorney Erap. Congratulations sa inyong bagong podcast. Napanood ko yung mga first two shows ninyo.
Wow. Thank you, Father K. Pwede ka ba naming tawaging Father K?
Pwede.
Sige. So, usapang private ed tayo, Father Carol, no? So, kanina, tinatanong ni Erap, no, kumusta na ba daw ang private education? Siguro, ang very easy answer in terms of kumusta is tinitingnan natin yung enrollment natin, no? From K to 6, 7 to 10, 11, 12, and higher ed. At makikita natin, napakakonti no ng ating mga estudyante. Marami pa sanang opportunity no para ma-expand natin ang enrollment. We saw our current figures sa K to 6, diniscuss din natin ito, Father, no, very recently. Tayo ay nasa 8% lamang no ng buong student share. Sa junior high school, tayo ay nasa 14%. Sa senior high school, nasa 35%. So ganun ang ating share no sa mga estudyante from K to 12. Sa higher ed,
Sa higher ed kasi nasa 3 million lang total population, sa both, from the government higher education institutions and the private sector. So 3 million ang ating estudyante. Medyo mas, mataas lang ng konti ang, ating private higher education institutions in terms of, enrollment share. Pero alam mo, Father Karel and, Doc D, tinitingnan ko kasi sinusubaybayan ko yung enrollment, pagtapos ng pandemic. Parang hindi pa tayo masyadong naka-recover 'no, nakabalik dun sa pre-pandemic numbers. In fact, mababa pa rin, eh, 'no? Yung ang hindi masyadong natitingnan is yung, out of school youth 'no? At ang sabi ng, sa mga surveys and data na nire-release din every year, I think umabot na sa 10 million 'no, yung recent 10 million sa basic ed ang out of school youth 'no. So, mataas na porsiyento pa rin. So, anyway, 'yan ang, sa private
context.
education.
Oo.
Ano pa ba ang share natin?
Oo. So siguro no, ano ka lang kasi I was talking percentages kanina, pero yung K to 12 na yon pag inad mo, nasa mga 3.5 million yan na nasa K to 12 private, no,
Sa
across K to 12. So Father, given all of this, nasaan ang Kokopea at CAP ngayon?
Well, Doc D and Attorney E, mahalagang usapin yung enrollment sa private education kasi alam naman natin na ang enrollment yung main source ng income at lifeline ng private schools, no? Hanggang ngayon, every time we do budgeting for a school year, kinukumpara namin ang enrollment levels pre-pandemic. Ngayon, dumaan tayo sa pandemic, tsaka ngayon post-pandemic, no? ang desire ng mga private school, if not all private school, sana matapatan namin pre-pandemic level, no? Hindi lang yung pandemic era yung naka-disrupt sa
Mm.
enrollment levels ng private school, pati yung K-12 transition, as we know, no?
Mm.
Ngayon, tapos na tayo sa K-12 transition, many private schools are still struggling na umabot yung enrollment levels namin sa pre-pandemic at saka pre-K-12 transition. So, yung ganon. So, I would say na most schools are still struggling to reach their proper enrollment levels that will make our private schools sustainable. So kami sa Kokopeya yung coordinating council of private educational associations. So, ito yung pagsama-sama para umbrella organization ito ng mga private school associations. No? Marami nandito. So, nagtipon-tipon kami para magsama-sama kami ng mga i-advocate. Kasi ng advocate, may common issues kami tulad ng greater support for private education. At yun, pwede natin pag-usapan yung mga issues na yun. Pero ang Kokopeya yung parang voice of private education in government. No? We are consulted often by the Department of Education, by CHED, by TESDA, by Congress, by Senate. Through the years yan, nakilala na rin ang Kokopeya bilang the voice of private education. Meron kaming legal team, tumutulong nga sa amin si Attorney Erap, that has been a steadfast legal counsel of Kokopeya, para to engage government and other regulatory agencies so that we have solid position on issues. Gusto ko rin sabihin at this point na isa sa mga major concerns ng private education, yung tatawag natin complementarity at bigat na konsepto yan. Pero ang simpleng pagpapaliwanag dyan, sana yung government natin pagtingin sa private education partner as much as possible equal terms as public schools or DepEd schools or QCs, no, or LUCs. In terms of government resources education, we see both private education and public education as working together for the mission of education for all our citizens. So yung ganung perspective, no, na of equal importance. So deep ang partnership of complementarity. Mahalaga doon yung role ng PEAC. No? Yung PEAC naman um, helps manages government resources for private education. Malaking utang na loob namin in a mechanism like PEAC, which has been around for many, many years na rin. Kasi ang PEAC makes government resources for private education managed in a very professional way. No? Na talagang credible, yung mga recipients of government funding, no, certified, and very strong ang support to make our private schools flourish in terms of excellence and quality.
Father Karel, maganda yung ni-raise ni Father. Marami tayong points na maaring pag-usapan. But before we go into that, gusto ko lang din idagdag no, na yung sa data pa rin ng private schools, I think now nasa 9,000 plus na lang ang number of private schools in the country. No? From pre-pandemic or even during the pandemic, sinasite ng Secretary of Education before, nasa 12 to 13,000. No? So, ang presumption na is nagsara. No? Nagsara or either voluntary or siguro karamihan talaga doon ay voluntary closure because of the enrollment. Kaya Father Karel, gusto ko lang itanong na kasi simulan mo doon sa complementarity. Siguro, ang tanong ko una is, how does the private education sector cope with the policy changes? Kasi ang daming nangyayari, ang daming mga bagong polisiya. Paano ito hinaharap ng pampribadong sektor?
Una, inaaral namin yan. No? Parang yung mga administrators ng private schools, sanay na rin na intindihin ang mga department orders, mga CHED memoranda, at sanay na kami mag-comply. No? No matter how difficult it can be, no? Sometimes the requirements of government agencies would be immediate, so we would immediately comply and submit. Sometimes their visit to our schools are given on short notice, but we will still cooperate. So ang stance namin is to cooperate and comply. But we also want to reflect on more deeper issues like we feel that and then it is also safeguarded in the Constitution na tawag na academic freedom. In other words, may leeway ang private schools to run our schools the way we think it should be run. And
Yes.
there's a great variety of private schools. As we know, di ba, kami sa CAP, mahalaga sa amin ang values like we're faith-based. AXCO is also faith-based, no? So, marami kaming determinants on how to run our
Yes.
schools, no? Like we have values and mission, priorities, no? Kaya pag sasabihin, for example, ng government, ang minimum standard in terms of curriculum ito, we will comply, but we will struggle to include as well our values and mission curricula. And that might mean additional requirements for our students. Ganun.
Yeah.
So gusto namin mag-cooperate with government to help government also understand where we are coming from.
Yeah.
And see that we are in this together, no?
Yes.
We want quality education. We want to help government address the learning crisis
Yes.
in the Philippines, and private
Yes.
schools are often cited as venues for quality education. And
Yeah.
we want to keep that quality
Yes.
alive and well. But we need the cooperation of government
Yeah.
to make us thrive in
Sure.
terms of quality education.
Siguro Father, no, magre-react ako dun sa mga inputs mo, no, plus what Father, but Father na rin siya, Attorney E said, no. There was a very recent workshop done by DepEd on DepEd Order 6. Very important ito, DO6 2024, a framework of public-private complementarity in basic education. Kaya napakaganda niya kasi walang ganito ang CHED at TESDA, pero nauna na, no, ang DepEd sa ganitong klaseng framework building. And in that workshop, sinabi nga ni Sec Sani, no, we hope that the private schools that DepEd will not just be regulators and that we are just stakeholders. Rather, we are co-authors, no, of an education system that we want to build. This is a very good aspiration at nandun yon ito, no, dun sa DepEd Order 6 nga. Kasi as what you were saying, Father Carol, hindi naman pwede na parang sila yung magsasabi ng DO, CMO, or, a TESDA regulation or directive, and we would just comply without private schools being asked, being consulted, or even part of a governance mechanism where even at the level of decisions, we really will have a lot of say. Kasi nga, kung gagamitin natin ang mga big ideas dun sa DepEd order, a mixed education system with two drivers, public and private, reasonable regulation, no harm policy, meaning huwag kayong gagawa ng kahit na anong polisiya na makakasakit sa private ed, no? At saka yung participatory governance, napakaganda, no, nitong framework na ito is really just a matter of, sabi nga natin, sana hindi lang nasusulat, kundi makikita natin sa tunay na mga polisiya, programa at practices, no? Kasi nga, sabi mo nga, we have not recovered even from the K-12 transition. Ang ibig sabihin no, para sa ating mga nakikinig, no, kasi nung nag-senior high school, syempre nag-adjust dyan, no, ang mga college institutions, nawalan sila ng estudyante or two cohorts of students, no, during the transition period. And then your basic ed providers also had to expand to senior high. Now, after that, nag-pandemic naman. So ngayon, nandyan tayo, no, trying to recover from two extraordinary circumstances that have really disrupted the private schools in the Philippines.
So, Father Karel, sa palagay mo,
Yes.
that's sa sinabi ni, maganda yun, no? Yung DO6 to 2024. Father, ano sa palagay mo, would that be enough, no, with all of the challenges from on the policy standpoint? Sa dami na ng mga DOs na na-issue, some are overreach, no? Some are reasonable. You said that we are complying, but do you think this is enough, yung DO na 'to and that, uh, that principle introduced by the current DepEd administration to fix everything?
It's a good starting point. Perhaps it's a good starting point. It is enough for now because it has the weight. Meron siyang bigat na dala ng current DepEd Secretary natin, si Secretary Sani Angara, na if that is his vision, that should be the vision of the whole DepEd bureaucracy. Maganda yun kasi may champion and the
Yes.
champion is no less than the secretary himself. That means he will champion a change of mindset in the
Yes.
whole vast bureaucracy of DepEd.
Yes.
It's easier said than done. Pero kailangan mabago natin yung pag-iisip ng ating mga kasama sa gobyerno na pagtingin sa private ed, partners where we're on even level in terms of doing this work of education for our country. No? At maraming implications yan in terms of operationalization.
Yes.
Sabi nga, maganda yung policy level and intention, pero implementing. For example, ang DepEd merong tinatayong private education office. Ano yung role nun vis-a-vis existing structures that already coordinate private education? Yung bang, let's avoid overlapping and even possible competition between offices, no? I think magandang simula, as I said, good starting point, kasi makikinig na ang both parties sa isa't isa. Yung mga DepEd consultations na na-attendan ko ever since naging secretary si Secretary Sani Angara. Ang observation ko naman, hindi ko alam kung observation mo, Attorney and Doc D, no? Na pakiramdam ko nakikinig na sila ng mas malalim compared to before. Parang
Yes.
mas ano na sila, mas diligent or parang mas open na makinig sa private sector. Natutuwa ako doon. Simpleng bagay na gano'n na minsan tinatanong pa yung mga lawyers ng private school, attorney ganyan, attorney John, attorney Erap, attorney Ada, what do you think? No? Tapos nagte-take notes sila, no? And ang feeling ko very sincere in
Yes.
listening to us at this time. Ano tingin niyo?
Yes.
Yeah. Agree ako doon, no? Pero siguro pick upin ko rin yung mga sinabi mo. For example, isa pang example natin dito, no? Halimbawa, yung voucher program. Nag-umpisa ito in 16-17 na 50-50 tayo. Ngayon, nasa 35% na lang ang share natin. So, yung thinking na is, if this is a long-term strategy, and it should be, where do we intend to take it? Kasi yung decrease in enrollment natin should not only be bothersome to private, it should bother DepEd as well. Kasi kapag kulang tayo ng estudyante, ibig sabihin, magiging congested sila. Lalo, the fact that they're congested now, they will be more congested because the students are not with us because of 1,000 reasons, no? And then second, yung isa pang sinabi mo kanina, natuwa ako, you're saying CAP, Catholic schools, and then AXCOR, the Christian schools, yan nga yung nasa DepEd Order 6 din, tungkol sa inherent value of private ed. In other words, imagine a future na walang private ed. Paano ka magkakaroon ng option na kung ikaw ay isang magulang na Katoliko, at gusto mo nasa Catholic school ang anak mo because all government schools will have to be secular. So talagang merong lugar ang private education in the scheme of things. Yan ay kailangan i-recognize mindset nga ng government at ng private schools.
Yes, napakaganda. Ano lang ako, comment lang ako mabilis doon sa sinabi ni Father. I agree, Father, na napakaganda nung DepEd Order number 6 on operationalizing complementarity. And napakalaking bagay nun kung nanggagaling mismo sa Secretary of Education. Pero I also observe na medyo malayo pa tayo in terms of implementation in the different offices also of the bureaucracy. Nung isang araw lang, Doc D and Father Karel, may mga nagpapaabot sa akin ng komento na sabi nila, complementarity na pero bakit ganon? Pati sa pag-announce ng suspension of classes, hindi mapagkatiwalaan yung private school. Sila lahat nagde-decide, no? Hindi ba lang tayo tanungin muna? So wala bang, kung may DO6 na, bakit walang ganung mekanismo? Sabi ko, sige, hintay lang tayo. Siguro dadating din tayo dyan. Dami pa, no? Like yung kindergarten na hindi makapasok sa mga eskwelahan, inadmit na ng mga eskwelahan ng private schools, pumasa na yung bata. May policy pa rin ng DepEd that says, mas bata ka ng 1 day, bawal ka. Which is also, it also conflicts with the finding of EDCOM, by the way, na sabi, mali daw yung the thinking of some parents that their kids are too young to enter education. So yung mga ganito, kaya tuwing naririnig ko yung mga ganyang sinasabi, na lalo na yung pag-impose ng mga deadlines similar to public schools, mukhang talagang the cascading of that principle is still a long way to go. Gusto natin talagang mangyari yan.
And a long way, Attorney Tama. If I may also say, ang isang pretty, I would say radical implication nito is to look into the salaries of our teachers. No?
Yes.
Kung may complementarity talaga, then you see that value of teachers in the private sector is also as important as the value of teachers in the public sector. And in this regard, we have a long way to go. No?
Long way to go.
Alam naman natin ang usual lament o yung complaint, misery private schools is that we lose our private teachers to public schools. We hire them, we train them, magaling na trainers ang private schools ng teacher competency and values, no? And then after 2 to 3 years, they leave us and transfer to higher paying DepEd schools. That's for basic education. And that happens as well in higher education, no? They get training. Sometimes we give them training for masters and doctorates, and then after serving their obligation a number of years, they transfer to the SU. The phenomenon that we call the migration of private school teachers to public schools and universities. No, complementarity means we give equal value to both public and that will entail a lot. In terms of resource allocation
Yes.
private school. Ngayon nga yung PEAC, di ba, meron tayong teachers subsidy.
Yes.
Very important but still inadequate
Inadequate.
as Doc D knows. No?
Yes. Not just inadequate, but it's only for junior high school. So what about senior high school? No? What about elementary K to 6? So we have to wait for a K to 6 subsidy program before they can get a TSS, no? Pero sa akin kasi, the migration of teachers, if it is at huge, levels, very high levels, yun problematic yun because it makes private unsustainable. What we want here is sustainability of provision, both public and private. So tama si Father Carol in terms of resource allocation. Should we not give subsidies to private school teachers so that we mitigate the migration? In effect, we keep both public and private stable in the delivery of basic ed. Ang like ko sinasabi kasi teacher ako ng matagal, no? Hindi naman overnight na poporma yung isang teacher para ang kanyang maging instructional design and even teaching learning activities are aligned with the vision mission of the institution. So that's one. Pero siguro, Father, ito, no, and Attorney E, yung rationalizing the provision. Bakit ang dami nang ma-migrate sa, say, SUCs and LUCs? Kasi dumadami sila. Diba? So sa akin, parang how do we rationalize the provision in basic ed and higher ed between public and private?
Yes. So I think I think discussion natin from policy challenges or issues to also economic challenges faced by the private education sector. And Father, paano naman yan? How do we face that? Tayo na nasa private sector, paano tayo sumasabay naman or how do we address this? Aside from mga vouchers, relying on government itself, paano natin nasusustain itong mga ating operations with the economic challenges that we face?
Kanina nabanggit natin yung yung decreasing trend of private education participation in elementary, junior high school, senior high school, and also in a way higher education as well. No, I guess what Doc D and Attorney E were saying, alarming yan. Kasi nga it will cause congestion the massive transfer of students to the public sector because there are less private schools already. Alarming yan kasi I think government should also move to help struggling private school. Ang tanong sa akin, how, no? For example, for a private school, a small private school in a municipality that is under threat of closure because of these economic challenges, no? Can government come in to help prevent closure of that private school because its services in that particular small locality is needed.
Mm.
So yun, no? Can the regional offices of DepEd and CHED attend to struggling private schools? Yun ba? Parang to keep the supply of education stable in an area, no? Yun ang ganong kailangang management. Another thing is competition. If there is a well-performing private school, small or medium size, even big, in a particular locality, uh, can government say, oh, it's already doing the job of education there, so therefore we don't need to establish a SUC or LUC there to
Higher
further
ed.
compete
Totoo.
with the successful small private school. We've got a good number of our private schools in the small private schools in localities in the provinces would complain that of unnecessary competition with
Yes.
public schools.
Mm.
So yan yung mga naisip ko. Government should take care of sustaining
Mm.
Both.
struggling private school.
Oo.
And ang tanong sa akin, how to do that?
Sundan ko lang, Doc, dito kay Father. Father, meron bang ideal na ratio ng public and private educational institutions? What is, when you say complementarity, at least the environment itself is sustainable, tapos there's optimum quality na both public and private sector share. Meron bang, kailangan ba yan 50-50? In terms of number, in terms of number of schools. Tapos sunod, in terms of
Share.
allocation of government resources. Kailangan ba laging equal yan to say kung may complementarity po?
Perhaps that's the formula that we need to
That's a
figure
research.
out, no? Kailangan ng research in terms of
Research.
Research.
demographics of an area, market analysis of education, yung ganun ba? Pero that's a good question to ask. A formula of a ratio and proportion in terms of public-private in a given particular locality, no? I think this should be a
Good
consequence
research.
of
That's a good research.
complementarity policy. Di ba? What do you think?
Yeah.
Sa market,
Yeah.
Yeah.
market
Before,
analysis.
Yeah.
before I ask,
Ano lang ako,
Yeah,
Doc,
Doc, please.
Attorney E, ano lang ako, comment ako dyan, no? It's a good research that can be done. Kasi right now, okay, what's the objective of the junior high school ESC? It is to contract private schools in order for them to absorb the overflow of public junior high. That's the same for the senior high school. But if we will look at the amount of the ESC, it is already at levels na hindi na attractive. Hindi na kayang i-move ng isang magulang ang anak niya from public to private dahil maliit ang subsidiya. So yan ang kailangan niya na aral. Magkano ba talaga para mailipat?
Correct.
Second, sino ang inililipat? So for example, we talk about socioeconomic A, B, C, D, E. So who are most inclined to move to private? Because they can actually pay the top up and the other expenses in private. So it's really completely rationalized, which is also the same, for example, for senior high school. There is differentiation now, no? NCR, highly urbanized, non-highly urbanized. But we also have to take a look at how much should the voucher value be kung academic siya at kung tech-voc siya. So maraming pag-aaral na pwedeng gawin para yung maaaring makalipat sa private
Yes.
with government support. So yan ang mga dapat na pinag-aaral. Now, kung actual figures ang pinag-uusapan in terms of share, I think pwede rin naman niyang aralin. Because let us not forget, no, we are not in a vacuum. No, it's not just DepEd who can solve all of the problems in basic education. For example, like in the previous years, and we've seen this also validated by research, yung low-income families Kapag yan talagang nagkaroon pa ng mas malaking problema sa family income, yan yung mga kung nasa private sila, lilipat talaga yan ng
Tama.
public. Hindi apektado ang mga elite private, for lack of a better term. Ang apektado yung non-elite. So yan ang mga makikita natin na pwede talagang aralin sa pamamagitan ng isang research. Pero may isa pang opportunity. ALS, you were saying nga, alternative learning systems. So yung mga yan, talagang mahabang pag-aaral, no, ang pwede natin gawin. And to my mind, sabi nga ni Father Carrel, mindset yan. It's not thinking the way we did in the past. Okay, kailangan pa ba ng classrooms? Build tayo, di ba? Baka naman pwede yung pag-iisip, okay, ganito karami ang kailangan nating, ganito ang siniserve natin na dami ng estudyante. Tapos ganito ang kakulangan natin sa classrooms. Baka hindi build classrooms ang solution. Baka build classrooms plus expand vouchers.
Yes. In other words, ang palagay ko ang pinupunto ni Doc D is empowering our students and our parents to make the choice between public and private. Kasi ngayon, that choice is not the genuine choice. Ibig sabihin, they're just constrained to choose what is free and what is affordable from the government. So they choose the public kasi wala silang way to go to the private. So what do you think, Father? Is that while we wait for that research, ideal na ratio and number and budget siguro, is that something na realistic na we empower our parents that they become indifferent to costs? Ibig sabihin, kung gusto nila sa public, pwede. At kung gusto nila sa private, bibigyan din sila ng suporta ng gobyerno. Dadating ba tayo doon, Father?
Yun ang ating dream na in terms of affordability of education, medyo may balance. I can afford both public
And then I
and
choose.
private. Private, if I choose, I will be helped. So, equal yung assessment ko. Ano lang, quality. As I said, yung private typically known for its quality. Thus, public challenge in terms of anong classrooms, etc., di ba? Overburdened teachers as a result of EDCOM2 findings. So how can we help upgrade the quality of public schools as well, such that if you compare the quality of both, mas free
Yes.
to choose.
Yes.
One doesn't outweigh the other. So yung
Yes.
balancing quality and affordability. That's our dream of Philippine education in the future, that
Yes.
our parents are free to choose that way.
Yes.
And to think of it, that's really the complementarity,
Oo.
the state of complementarity that we want.
Buti sinabi ni Father yung yung quality as a very important component.
Yes.
So hindi lang affordability, na it's really quality of provision. Na ang dream talaga natin is both public and private schools actually provide quality education.
Mm-mm.
'Di ba?
Yeah, so tanong ko sa iyo, Father Karel, kasi I think in the past, in many policies, even from the previous administrations, parang ang ini-imply nila is access muna tayo, tsaka na tayo mag-focus sa quality. Do you think that accessibility of education and quality education, is this something that should be mutually exclusive o pwede naman itong gawin na sabay? Ano po sa palagay niyo?
Kaya mas una ang quality kaysa access eh. Kasi marami ka ng estudyante sa public schools, tapos poor quality, kawawa rin ang bata.
Yes.
So, of course, dapat hindi linear. Yung ito muna, tapos ito. Pwede
Yes.
sabay-sabay, no? But if you have to be linear about it, I would go for quality.
Quality mo.
And then access. But I think our managers of education in government and private, we're learning how to be non-linear in our interventions ba?
Although,
Strategy.
Father,
Sabay-sabay natin kaya yan.
Oo. Yung ADB 2020 report na ang nag-aral tungkol sa GASPE, ang sabi niya, itong mga programa natin, ESC, TSS, and the voucher program, very good sila because they're able to promote three principles that are so crucial: public-private complementarity, accessible quality education. So hindi nila pinaghihiwalay, no, ang access at quality. At pangatlo, efficiency. Ano yung efficiency? Kung ang budget ng Pilipinas hindi naman unlimited, alin sa dalawa at this time ang nakakapag-provide ng dekalidad na edukasyon?
Mm.
Ang public or private? and then dun tayo mag-invest. Kaya nga ngayon paulit-ulit ang usapan, no? Now that EDCOM2 came out with a report fixing the foundations, lalong umiingay ang K-6. Kailangan talaga may subsidiya sa K-6 para magkaroon ng sustainable K-6 private, and government can support students who can move to the private K-6 schools kasi nga congested ang public. At saka, yung iba naman, to solve the congestion, double and triple shifts.
So,
Yes. Yes, sir.
Father, may tanong po ako sa iyo, Father. So, from that
Yes. Huwag masyado
discussion,
mahirap, attorney, ha?
Hindi, kasi maganda, naririnig po talaga sa inyo. I think maraming nagbe-benefit sa discussion, especially coming from you, Father. Father, di ba, karamihan ngayon, so you discuss about academic freedom, complementarity, meaning humingi tayo ng, we assert the rights of private educational institutions on this. No? So, ang tanong ko, paano ba ito talaga, like academic freedom, paano ito nakaka-contribute sa quality? Because you mentioned about the importance of quality. How does it directly relate to the standards of quality in private education? Kasi po, ang context ito is every time we assert quality, academic freedom, di ba, tayo ay tinatry din i-regulate. Parang ang impression ng public is, hindi pa natin kayang pagtiwalaan private sector, mag-aabuso yan. Bigyan mo ng konting latitude, mag-aabuso sa pag-collect ng tuition. Bigyan mo ng subsidy, abusuhin niya, may ghost students. Ano po, what's your honest evaluation? Tayo ba ay nag-mature na doon sa level na dapat bigyan tayo ng more trust
Academic freedom.
ng government, academic freedom for quality?
Well, kanina, magandang tanong yung attorney. Kanina lang, we were in a meeting ng COCOPEA before this. And isa sa mga na-pick up ko doon, yung listening to my fellow private school administrators, na for us, we run our schools as mission, but at the same time, we run them as business.
Yes.
We run them as business kasi kailangan lang i-sustain. No? Siyempre, we need income to pay for our people, faculty, upgrade their salaries, etc. We have to pay for our facilities. We need to save money to make this school run for the next 5 to 10 years and beyond. Of course, we need acumen to run our schools. No? Isn't that already a safeguard to running our school well? No? And parang given that thinking, wouldn't we trust our private school administrators that they will run the school well and give them the leeway and the freedom to do so? That's in terms of the economic part, the business part. Much more so dun sa mission dimension of running private schools. We have particular objectives, like we want a particular university to be an engineering university. This one, expert in science and technology. Ito, experts in medicine, in liberal arts. Ito, experts in humanities, philosophy, preparation for our students to be good lawyers. That's the way private schools run our schools, diba? Meron kaming particular focus in terms of mission. We need academic freedom there because we know what we are doing. We need to be able to be free in determining our courses, our curriculum, our syllabi. No? Siguro may minimum quality, but we can ensure internal quality. Siguro government should also realize that we have internal quality mechanisms as well. We don't have to be constantly checked externally because it is to our advantage to run our school sustainably as a business and sustainably as a mission to check upon ourselves internally. So we have internal checks mechanism. So therefore, we need the freedom and the leeway to do so. I think yun ang aking definition ng academic freedom, no? Trust the private sector that it is doing what it knows best. Ganun ba?
Yes, ako na alam mo yung sagot ni Father Karen, may naalala ako na paborito kong landmark case na ganyan ang sinabi. Sabi nung US Supreme Court, academic freedom cannot thrive in an atmosphere of suspicion and distrust. Yun ang sinabi. Exactly, yun ang sinabi ni Father, di ba? Parang di ba pwedeng binibigay mo pero binabawi mo rin.
So
Di ba?
siguro, yeah, I agree with your statements, no? Pero, sige ako naman, no? I will wear the hat of a regulator. Alam din natin na may mga ibang private schools na talaga namang substandard. Alam natin na may mga private schools na hindi rin very honest. For example, very little integrity in how they operate. So if that is the case, then the regulators should do their jobs. Ang problema kasi minsan, ang napaghihigpitan kung sino pa yung accredited, kung sino pa yung certified. Yun ang alam na natin na let us allow them to fly. Let's allow them to innovate. Let's look at their good practices. We might be able to adopt this. Let's allow them to internationalize. They will be the face of very good education in the country, no? Tapos yung mga alam natin na maraming complaints against these schools, yan ang puntahan natin, no? Tignan natin, meron ba kayong internal quality assurance as what Father Carol is saying? Because Father, tingin ko, meron mga eskwelahan, baka walang ganyan na mga IQA. All the more, lalong hindi sila nag-EQA, external. No accreditation, no certification. Noon pa, no, sinasabi na namin, kapag nagkaroon ng polisiya ng certification sa senior high school, dahil ngayon wala niyan eh, ang uunahin ay lahat ng senior high school nang walang evidence of quality assuring from K to 12. In other words, yung kanilang K to 10, hindi certified or accredited. Yung kanilang 7 to 10, hindi ESC participating. Yung kanilang senior high, hindi nila sinubmit sa FAAP for accreditation. Yan ang mga pwedeng unahin, no? Kasi, ang sa akin, no, if I'm a good school and I'll be visited by an external quality assuring mechanism, I will think of it as an opportunity to learn and opportunity to grow. Kung talagang maayos kang mag-isip, no, bakit ka matatakot? Bakit mo aayawin? Yung ganong klaseng initiative na merong external na pwedeng tumingin sa'yo if you're compliant with standards and requirements.
So may tanong ako kay Father, before you give your comment. So on what Doc D said. So as Kokopeya po, anong kasi sabi inopen ni Doris yung role of government as regulator and ensuring everyone complies with the minimum standards of
Yes.
quality. I'm sure nahihirapan din ng gobyerno sa dami ng schools. Sa atin sa private sector through Kokopeya, ano pong role ng Kokopeya doon in ensuring that the private sector commits to standards of optimum standards of quality? At kung hindi pa, what do we plan to do? Kasi ngayon, yun ang isang malaking issue no?
Yung magandang term na reasonable regulation, and Kokopeya is committed to that direction of reasonable regulation from government, which means government has a lot of things to do, and there are many private schools that need help in terms of certification and quality assurance. So focus on them. I mean, because of the great demand for such quality assistance and certification, if you may call it, not much good regulation can have the connotation of it being negative. But if government looks at it as helping struggling private schools in terms of quality upgrading, focus on them.
Yes.
Focus on them rather than look into the schools that have proven themselves through the years.
Yes.
That's why I fully subscribe to what Doc D said. No, we cannot, we cannot abandon schools that need help in terms of quality, nor should we let go of schools or pabayaan natin yung mga eskwelahan na talagang pabaya. No? I mean, their things in terms of quality,
Yes.
it can even be corrupt
Yes.
or ganun ba. So we need control mechanisms there.
Yes.
And we will
Yes.
depend on government in that regard.
Oh.
Kokopeya naman, being responsible educational associations, we should assure that our rank
Yes.
consistent in these principles of internal quality assurance. Kaya di ba? Alam ni Doc dito nung nagkaroon ng findings na may ilang schools na may ghost student enrollment in terms of the subsidy, the gas resources. Kaming heads ng private associations, we were worried and concerned. Sabi namin, Doc, meron ba kaming mga member schools namin yan? So we were worried, no? Kasi, and that worry is very important because we want our members who are
Yes.
in our respective associations diligent, um, diligent and achieving minimum standard. At ano namin yun, due diligence namin. Pag may nag-fumble, it is upon us that we check ourselves. No? And that's the one of the purpose and power of Cocopea as an
Mm.
association.
Oo.
Internal check mechanisms, we help each other. We support each other.
Naku, napakaganda.
Siguro ano lang, pick up ko lang
Yeah.
quickly ha, kasi gusto ko tong lumabas, no? For yung mga eskwelahan na nagkakaproblema, for example, sa GASPE, ang minimum na hinihingi dyan ng PAC at ng DepEd ay mag-refund yan. In other words, there's a system that is already in place for refund. And then, if really it's a serious case, either suspension from the program or termination from the program. So, yan ay over the years, nandyan na yan. Now, having said that, alam nyo ba na meron din tayong procedure for reinstatement? Kung yung eskwela, sabi hindi, okay na kami, maayos na kami, nakapag-refund na kami, we're putting order in our institution, there is an opportunity for reinstatement. In other words, lahat tayo dito magkakasama no sa pag-ensure na yung suporta na binibigay sa private schools ay napupunta sa mga responsableng institution. And this is not just DepEd and PAC, but also Cocopea and the other associations. Pero siguro, balikan ko lang yung sinasabi kanina ni Father Carol, no? And I hear this very often from higher ed presidents. You know, the education agencies, particularly CHED, for example, because these are higher ed presidents, hindi lang regulatory ang function yan, developmental. Nasaan yung developmental aspect ng trabaho ng CHED para matulungan ang ating mga eskwelahan. Example, they've all complied with the minimum, but there's now an initiative towards internationalization because that is the way to go. Asa naman dyan ang suporta? No, hindi naman laging strict regulation. Tulungan naman natin, no, para makapag-improve talaga ang ating mga educational institutions.
Napakaganda ng sinabi ninyo, Father Karel and Doris. Kasi yung sinasabi ninyo, in effect, sinimulan ni Father Karel na yung reasonable regulation, ikaw din naman na hindi pwedeng basta regulation lang, sila din dapat ay mag-isip ng paraan para tayo makakapag-comply. Kasi ganyan din how the framers of our Constitution envision what reasonable regulation is. Pag binasa mo talaga yung journal, sabi nila, reasonable regulation in its supportive sense. Hindi ibig sabihin tinataboy ng gobyerno, hindi ka pwede maging school, pero bigyan mo sila opportunity how to meet those standards. At kanina yung sinabi ni Father Karel, just comment quickly, Father Karel, tama po kayo yung sinabi ninyo na dapat yung tinututukan talaga kung sino yung mahina or siguro, kung sabi mo na, yung extreme cases na i-sanction, tutukan mo yon yung population na yun. Pero yung nag-mature na responsible and accountable, mataas ng quality, hiya mo sila no, para siguro sundan din nung iba. Kasi ang nangyayari po ngayon, it's my personal observation. Halimbawa, yung ikaw ay nag-submit na sa regulatory jurisdiction ng CHED at DepEd no, by means of your recognition or your permit. And that's an opportunity already for CHED and DepEd to meron ng regulatory capture sa iyo di ba? Isusunod na sa iyo yan, nasa recognition at may permit na sila. Pero yung mga wala pa dyan sa regulatory capture, sila actually yung problema mo yung colorum, yung nag-offer ng walang permit, walang recognition. Pero instead na sila ay tutukan, sila yung bantayan, ang binabantayan yung nasa loob na. I think that's the unintended consequence. Ano pa sa palagay niyo, Father, na ano pa bang mga pwede nating gawin na in your mga kahit mga broad ideas lang kasi we're entering the next subject we will be asking about education as election issue. Pero kayo po muna, ano sa tingin ninyo na dapat nating gawin ngayon?
Una, gusto ko sabihin, ang ganda nung number one, listening always to Attorney E, no? Sasabi mo na yan ang intention ng Constitution, yung gano'n, yung reasonable regulation. For administrators like me and educators like me, and I think I can speak for many private educators, we need to learn and understand that more fully, no? So that's why every time Tony speaks, nagkakasabay kami niya sa mga, we were in Tagum together, ganyan. Nag-address siya kami ng mga 2,000 educators nandun. Very important para know-how ang mga private educators to listen to all these things, no? Kaya I really affirm this this program of yours. No? So yun, Attorney E, more of that, more of these things to to learn more deeply all these things that we're talking about. Secondly, ang ganda nung sinabi ni Doc B, developmental is the word I'm looking for, no? Para bang regulatory can have negative connotations, but we call it developmental assistance, so developmental work of DepEd and CHED with schools is nagiging positive, where they are here not to check upon us, but to help us develop towards the standards that we agree on. So yung ganun bang mga way of presenting the roles of government, I don't know if this developmental thing is being used
Very
often
clear.
enough.
Yes.
Hindi.
Father Carol, meron pa akong assignment sa'yo. Akala ko sasabihin mo to eh. How
Hmm.
can Kokopea advocate na hindi lahat ng private schools mayayaman? Kasi I always hear that argument, wag nang tulungan ng mga private, mayayaman yan eh. And then they start, giving a roll call of the elite private. Kailangan, hindi ko na sasabihin ano yung roll call na yon. But siguro talagang dapat ma-impress natin in the spirit of complementarity that we have to support all of private and that it is incorrect and inaccurate to say that all of private are the elite schools.
I completely agree. In hearings and consultations, I think you, Doc, and even Attorney, you're conscious of that, no? Kami, like me, if I will attend such hearings and all our leaders in Kokopea, we need to be more conscious in communicating that. This morning, I was just in a meeting with some Unity Vet schools here in Mindanao, no? They were sharing to me their plights because they are in locations where there are no sook and no look schools. So therefore, sila ang nagki-cater to the poorest of the poor. Even in the IP populations, they give IP education. So I sympathize with them. These are the voices of many, not most of our member schools. So sa akin, ang learning ko doon, as Kokopea chair, I get interviewed and I give public statements. I should be more conscious that our membership composition are really also composed of small, struggling, or private schools. No, kasi ako, president ako ng Ateneo, big and ganyan. Dapat ang mindset ko hindi lang big private schools, no? Sa akin, educational yun. So akin, I'm very conscious of that. I hope to be able to represent as well the voice of our small private schools. In CAP, we call them mission schools. No, they're struggling. I hope government will also provide some sort of a funding mechanism
Oo.
for loans for struggling private small schools.
Ako, sarap ng kwentuhan natin.
Siguro
Kaya
gawin
lang,
nating guest ang mga yan.
Oo.
Dapat ang susunod
Yes.
na one of these days ang guest natin yung schools na nag-ooperate ng schools for the indigenous people, for those who are
Yes.
really for the poorest of the poor, no? And we will see, no, how they are able to navigate all the challenges despite, no, their limitations.
Tama. Nako, siguro isusulat namin yan, Father Karel, para malaman pa natin from all of these sectors in private education, yung mga sinabi mo. Ako, ang sarap ng kwentuhan natin, kaya lang,
May tatanong pa tayong
syempre,
isa.
time is always a problem. Pero isa na lang
May isa
siguro.
pa.
Father Karel, how can Kokopea
Yeah.
make education an election issue?
Yes.
Meaning, dapat sa platforms, dapat lahat ng tumatakbo, kasama talaga or dapat number one sa agenda nila education. How
Father,
do
sa
we-
SWS survey, 89%, Feb 25 ito, this came from SWS and Stratbase. 89% of respondents said iboboto nila ang mga kandidato who will have as an agenda equal access to education. Ang Kokopea ba,
Yeah.
may initiatives?
Yeah. How do we
Dapat,
make that pitch?
I
Halimbawa, how do we make that pitch sa mga candidates na dapat sama niyo yung education? Fathers, go ahead.
Part of Kokopea's mission should be to ensure that our future political leaders carry the education agenda in their platforms. No? It's clear yan. So therefore, for the coming May elections, we are planning for electoral projects and activity pretty much like what we did in the last electoral exercise to ask certain political candidates running for electoral position, pwedeng yung senator, congressmen, some local executives to state their analysis of the educational system. You want to know if they know what's happening in the educational system. Yung alam ba nila yung learning crisis? Alam ba nila yung kung bakit kakagulo-gulo ang ating education ngayon? We will look at how they analyze, how they know, but at the same time, what are their plans in terms of
Good.
interventions, in terms of good policy. No? Basically, I don't know if they are aware of the difficulties of private schools. Kasi for
Yes.
many of our politicians, bilang nila, oh, free tuition free, ganyan, high salaries for public schools without knowing members of private sector. I'm sure many of our running candidates do not have a grasp of the intricacies or complexities of private education in the Philippines. So, for
Wow.
sure, we're thinking of Easter Monday as an event for this electoral
Wow, good.
project.
Very good.
Yes, yes.
Very good.
Tama. At Father Karel, ito yung rare opportunity na tayo naman ang magtanong sa mga tumatakbo at 'di ba kasi pag nanalo na sila, wala na eh.
Sisingilin. Pag nanalo,
Yes,
sisingilin
sisingilin
na.
tayo.
Pinatatawag lang tayo at
Yan.
pinag-e-explain eh. So ngayon naman natin sila muna 'di ba? This is an opportunity for us. Also push
Yeah.
for the education agenda.
Yeah. At
Anyway. Oo.
I would ask your help there, Doc D and Attorney E, to field the right challenging questions to them.
Yes, of
Yeah.
course.
Wow, exciting.
Ay naku, ang bilis ng oras.
1 hour na ba yun? Grabe. Sinong madaldal? Ako ba? Ikaw ba? O si Father K?
Okay lang si Father Karel at kayong dalawa.
Oo.
So
Si
marami
Father K.
Oo,
Thank you,
natututunan
ha.
sa inyo.
Thank you.
Of course, dun sa mga ating nakasubaybay, please follow us on Facebook and also you can also watch us through YouTube and Spotify, no? Kung na-miss niyo yung aming mga episodes. So sana patuloy niyo kaming suportahan, and with that, it's always a pleasure to listen ako personally to engage Doris and Father Karel in discourse, whether chats or no, kaya ang dami ko natutunan sa inyo ngayong episode.
Father, mag-ano ka muna? Mag-parting words ka muna, Father Karel.
Father.
Ako,
Showbiz.
I'm a new chair of Cocopea and CAP. I'm still learning. Pero kasi ang committed tayo sa education ng bansa for our CAP Catholic education. So na subukan natin hawakan yung mga tamang posisyon at paninindigan. At we continue to learn and to converse with experts like you, no? So I learned a lot from our session this afternoon from Doc T and Attorney. Kaya naman excited ako na i-disseminate itong podcast na to eh. Alam ni Doris yan kasi
Yay!
sa mga chat group and Bible group ko, post ako ng post
Yes. So with that, we'd like to thank Father Karel for being with us tonight. Actually, naka-cross-post tayo sa Catholic Educational Association of the Philippines Facebook page, sa Facebook page ng PAC, kasi syempre nandito yung bida na si Father Karel, who also sits in the PAC. So we'd like to thank everyone. Parting words, sabi, mag-summarize daw ako. Wag na masyadong mahabang summary. Ito na lang, siguraduhin natin ang usapang private ed ay nakapasok sa issues ngayong eleksyon.
At tuloy nating pag-usapan lahat lagi tuwing Monday and Thursday. So I hope you make it a habit to watch
Usapang Ed.
Maraming salamat sa inyo.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you on
Thank
Monday.
Father Karel.